And I just forgot to mention something before I actually start telling you things. I have a special announcement that I'll reveal at the end of the video. Now, what exactly is that announcement? Stay tuned. So, do you guys like Kamen Raiders? Whatever these Japanese bugmen are? Minasan konnichiwa, or Ohio, or konbanwa, depending on your time zone. It's me again, Soto XI Cosplay, returning back from YoumaCon, and I just want to say I had as much fun as I did last year. Oh, and also a slight disclaimer, if you want to go to certain sections in the video, I'll be leaving a timestamp right below, so if you want to go to a certain section, just go to that slot and there you go. Okay, so first off, I think it would be appropriate to talk about what happened during my experience with the days that I attended, and usually I actually went to the con on Thursday all the way up until Sunday, but I didn't stay all the way through on Sunday. Thursday happened, I walk in as Old Man Joseph as he appeared in the beginning of Stardust Crusaders, and it was just a pretty chillax day outside of just waiting in line to actually get the badge, but my one problem with it is this was actually my very first time pre-registering a badge for YoumaCon specifically. So it was actually categorized under 3 different lines, I guess, like the will call, the regular registration, and whatever the third one is. I can't remember. It's almost been a week since I've actually been to the con itself, so you guys know what I'm talking about. Originally, I went to the regular registration and thought that the pre-reg would be shorter than the regular registration. Turns out I was completely wrong and went to the wrong line, so I actually had to walk all the way back and go to the actual proper line. Yeah, after about an hour and a half, give or take, I finally got my badge and was ready to walk around, I guess. Now, when it comes to some of the panels that I attended throughout the weekend, there actually weren't a whole lot that I attended outside of voice acting stuff, but for the non-voice acting things, I actually attended this one Sonic Conspiracy Theory panel, which people have already talked about things like the tail stall from Sonic R, as well as Sonic.exe. Those are pretty much just being a dead horse at this point, given the reputation in the fandom. I mean, I love Sonic, I'm just a casual fan of the franchise. In fact, I'm still surprised I became a meme as soon as I wore that last year. It turns out that the plot in this story actually ties into the Cold War and how the color scheme of Sonic represents America and how Eggman's color scheme represents Russia. There were even a lot of other strange, random ass things that I wasn't expecting. I mean, I knew the Sonic fandom had some bizarrety in it, but not to this extent. But at least I'm not dealing with Uganda Knuckles. And also, another thing, if you actually noticed me from last year, or even just follow me on social media, if you actually saw me and said hi to me, then it was nice talking to you, even if it was about 30 seconds, give or take, or even if it was just taking a picture of me, just pretty much whatever. It was nice talking to you guys. In fact, there was even one person, and I was actually just browsing around looking for stuff to buy around the garage sale area. There was this one person who was like, "Excuse me, are you Soto XI Cosplay?" "Yeah, why?" "Oh my god, I love your costumes!" And then, coincidentally, the same person from a couple of days ago actually saw me when I was walking out of the dealer's room as Decade, and then she responds with, "Oh my god, Soto, I know that's you, I need to take a picture!" I'm glad to see people like my work, but I wasn't expecting someone to go full-on fanboy, fangirl, or fan in general right in front of my face. I mean, I'm not a celebrity, well, not yet anyways. I'm not famous, I'm not up to John Cena level tiers of popularity. I'm just me, just a casual, laid-back, chill, but also damaged guy. Oh yeah, also, there was another person that who was cosplaying as a gender-bend version of Risoto from Vento Oreo, the stand user of Metallica. And I was just, well, hold on a sec. Sad thing is, the downside for Decade over the weekend was not once, but twice, I broke the forehead piece. That goes right here. Once I accidentally knocked it with my own hand as I was just sitting down to rest for a couple of minutes. And as I was loading my luggage into my car, I accidentally bumped it again and was like, no, I'll just fix it when I get home. Literally, when I was wearing Decade in the full suit, and when I was on the People Mover, I had my face open like this. And then there was this one person who was like, are you that old Sif cosplayer? Then I say yes, and then she says, I know you on Instagram. It's the little things that keep you going. Some things that people might not know about me, I actually have 3 stepsisters and 1 stepbrother, as well as a regular sister of the same blood as me. One of my stepsisters, and I'm not kidding you about this, she actually has connections to Team 4 Star. Yes, that Team 4 Star. And I actually got to meet some of the members from last year, like I got to meet Lanny Pator, Antfish. I wanted to get Takahata's autograph, especially given how I love Ghost Nappa. But I know Megami33 was here for this year, and so I actually attended one of her panels on how to do YouTube stuff. And there was this one person named Crows who actually brought in a 01 driver. Megami was like, what do you have there? Oh, it's just one of my many belts. One particular person in that panel actually pulled out their 01 driver, and I was like, see, there are other good people here. And I'm just like, I like this guy. And then, of course, for the voice acting panels that I attended, there was one voice acting panel David Vincent hosted, where pretty much the premise of what happened would be not only trying to read the lines as what you normally expect behind a booth, but what he wanted you to do is to not only read it how that person would perform it, but to read and perform how they want you to perform it, and then end things off with how they should die. Well, not like actually die, but just like the part of acting as if your character is dying on screen. Like, for example, there was this one person who was actually chosen from the audience, who actually read the line from the first Michael Bay Transformers movie, where Optimus was like, with the Allspark gone, we cannot return life to our planet, and so forth. After reading that, he actually made the same guy who read that line as Herbert the Pervert. It was just way too surreal. Just hear Herbert the Pervert be like, with the Allspark gone, we cannot return life to our planet. Even when I was sitting down watching the performances, I was just completely broken. And how they die, one of the examples was one of the other readers, different person who actually read the line as Herbert the Pervert, by the way. Well, their character was supposed to be killed by the horn of an actual unicorn just ramming into them. So it would pretty much be something like, oh hey, it's a unicorn! Oh, wait, it's coming towards me! Oh hey, you! Pretty much like that. But yeah, there's a lot of fun that actually goes into voice acting, which is actually one of the main reasons why I actually want to get into voice acting myself. So yeah, funny thing is, I actually encountered 3, count them, 3 speedwagons. And coincidentally enough, in connection to one of the Speedwagon cosplayers I came across, there were members of the Speedwagon Foundation that actually approached me as I was in the game room, and I just was expecting to encounter Speedwagon Foundation cosplayers with Robert Deal Speedwagon. The sad thing is, I wish I took a picture with that Speedwagon cosplayer, but they actually bestowed to me something I was expecting from them. They actually bestowed to me an actual business card of the Speedwagon Foundation, complete with a Gmail, a Discord, the CEO, and the address. Now, some of the bad stuff, and I'm actually not going to be talking about what everyone has already mentioned on social media, as I'm only going to be talking about what I've seen from my own perspective. It actually happened on Friday when I was waiting in line for the dealer's room, and I believe I lined up at around 10 a.m., 10:30. I'd want to say, I can't remember when exactly, but several hours before the regular attendees were supposed to go into the dealer's room. There were actually people in front of us, well, not to confuse it with the Platinum badge users, but just regular 3-day attendees that actually were huddled up like this, like if it were a football team. They thought that was the start of the line, and despite the line being very, very long, no matter where you're at, whether if it deals with waiting in line for the dealer's room, trying to get your badge, or whatever else, YoumaCon's a big con, and it's known for big lines, but cutting in line is definitely not the way to do things, and several people, myself included, were actually very, very concerned that they were just going to cut in line right in front of us. And then one time I actually said to one of the people in line with me, I just said, you know what, if they're gonna break the rules, so am I. But luckily, several minutes before the dealer's room opened, one of the staffers actually took care of things and just separated it, just pretty much split everything in two, and luckily everything was situated. That's not what I would do if I were in their shoes. I would much rather just tell them to just go to the back of the line like a regular first come, first serve manner, but better doing something rather than nothing, I guess. I mean, I've dealt with a similar situation with that as I was waiting in line to get Lisa Ortiz's and Erica Schroeder's autograph from last year, but that was only like 2 or 3 people. This was like 20, 30, maybe even 50 people. I don't even know. I mean, for the Platinum users, I get why they did that and why they actually do that as well behind the scenes. But when it comes to actual attendees, I don't know, it just kind of seems like a dick move just not asking where the line was. But regardless, I still had a lot of fun, and even when I was cosplaying as Decade, he was just as popular, if not maybe even more popular than his debut at MatsuriCon. I mean, 1.0, we don't really talk about that one. 2.0, you can talk as much as you want about it, but people were just fascinated, although the downside was I was the only armored character for that franchise in particular. I mean, I saw I saw an Naruto Hiden. I actually took a couple of pictures of Tsukasa Kadoya as he appeared in Geo, and I also came across Momotaros, Urataros, Kintaros, and Ryutaros. And I also saw Sogo, and there was also Kiryu Sento. Trying to think of who else I saw. I saw a lot of people, let's just put it that way. I think it would be appropriate to start with some of the freebies that I got. Since I was cosplaying as Joseph Joestar, I was bestowed this nice llama button that's dressed up exactly as how Joseph appeared, in Diamond is Unbreakable. Just to give you a little close-up to let you guys see how it looks. And this is a strange freebie, but I was given this little bracelet that reads Nerd. Although I prefer the term Geek, but whatever. And it's pretty much one of those elastic kid bracelets, whatever they are, I don't know. One strange thing that actually is on this are 2 skull beads. And now, to actually go for the stuff that I bought at the garage sale. For starters, I actually bought these 2 cute pins. Well, one is cute, but the other is actually something close to me as a person and how I relate to a character. I actually found this cute Iggy button, and not only that, but from the person that actually bought this from their booth, I also bought a reflective Abakio button with Moody Blues in the background. And as I was buying these 2 buttons, the person actually said to me, "You have great taste." I mean, I love Iggy as a doggo. I love Abakio as a character, even though I love and cosplay as Joseph. I'm thinking about cosplaying as Speedwagon and Abakio, but I'm not sure when those 2 characters are gonna debut. And now I actually bought a lot of Kamen Rider stuff from this one booth in particular. I'll just start off with the buttons. Yeah, I know, I bought a lot more buttons than usual. But I got one of double Cyclone Joker O's Datoba Datoba Wizard Flame Please He Game Orange Arms Hanamichi on stage. And last but not least, Derive Type Speed. Then I actually got some coasters for myself. One from Kamen Rider Zadaina, and that would be Wizado. And I also bought one of V3 and Agito. Although I have no idea why they have this on there, but at first I originally thought it was a Christmas ornament, given how it has this loop, but not gonna complain about it. Oh wait, I just noticed these are also from Kamen Rider Zadaina. Well shit. So I bought 3 things from the Zadaina. And of course, I know a lot of people are gonna be both jealous of me and are gonna have feels hit them right there. But this beautiful artwork of O's Tajador and Ankh. 2 of my friends and I have been thinking about doing an O's cosplay where one of them was gonna cosplay as Ankh, and I'm not sure if my friend Phil or I are gonna cosplay as O's, whether if it's Tatoba or Tajador. But a part of me has been thinking about cosplaying as Kogami, given my deep voice and how I shout, "Happy birthday!" and so forth. I'm glad to actually buy this. And now for the Artist Alley stuff, I didn't buy a whole lot compared to previous years as well as previous cons, so I think it would be more appropriate to start with this little score bunny charm. And coincidentally enough, to the person I actually bought this from, Megami33 herself actually has connections with the artist, and for those actually wondering, this is pretty much the artist and their business card, if you're curious about checking out their work. And after actually talking to Megami on Friday, I actually was approaching the booth just looking at the charms as well as the other work there, and Megami was sitting there herself and was like, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Megami." And she was like, "Are you that Joseph cosplayer?" And then I was like, "Yes, I was." And we started talking to each other a little bit more. So, big coincidence, I guess. And then, given how my cosplay alias is related to Xaid, and how I cosplayed as one actual canon form and non-canon form, Action Gamer and Sonic Gamer, I had to get this. No continue de Kriyastianuze! And last but not least, with the Artist Alley, this cute little Sylveon print. And I also bought this Yoshikage Kira charm. Not sure if you can see it on the camera now, but it actually has Killer Queen. Well, yeah, you can actually see it a lot better now. Killer Queen is etched in the background. Killer Queen actually glows in the dark when you have enough light applied onto it. And yes, for those actually wondering, Kira is my favorite antagonist in all of JoJo. And then I also bought this little X8 charm that doubles as a mirror, so you might see how messy my room is, and you might also see my iPhone in the background with Shadow the Hedgehog case and whatnot. But it's there. I actually saw these little gachapon machines where they actually had these capsule head things of Eevee, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, and Pikachu. And luckily, I got Eevee as well as Vaporeon, and I got Jolteon too. But I'm actually gonna bestow this to one of my friends. And for those that actually don't know about this, well, pretty much for the capsules themselves, the heads actually double as the gachapon capsules, and all the contents like the ears, the bodies, and whatever else, like even the fin in the case of Vaporeon, those are all separate pieces stored inside the actual thing. I actually got something similar that was bestowed on me by one of my friends from Japan when she came over for a couple of days and actually bestowed me this cute little Kamen Rider Dabaru figurine where the head splits in half and everything would just be stored like this, and then yeah, the rest is history. And now this is part of the video where when it comes to the dealer's room stuff, I actually got the good stuff. Even I have struggles with this one. Hishi! That also does remind me, I also came across a Fuwa cosplayer as I was walking around this decade, and I didn't notice their shot riser until about a few seconds in after seeing them. And that was actually the second crowning jewel. The biggest one, you know I had to get this. Uvoi Aruto. I'm the new president. And she... My buddy wasn't expecting these to be in the dealer's room, but I'm glad I got them. And also, reviews coming soon on these two things in particular. Now, will I review other 01 merch? I don't know just yet, but I don't plan on getting every single Progrise key or every single belt or weapon or whatever else. But glad to have these in my collection. I think it would be appropriate to start with my copy of Team Sonic Racing, signed by Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who actually provides a voice of Tails in Sonic Boom, but she also voices Tails here. Very nice and very talented woman. And of course, given how this anime in particular was the one that actually made me start getting into other titles like Inuyasha, Full Alchemist, Furikuri, and so many other iconic titles, this is the one I got into when I was a teenager and made me explore other titles. Naruto. And of course, I got the autographs of Miley Flanagan, though downside is her autograph was upside down, but I didn't mind it. And of course, I never actually watched Boruto, so I thought, instead of just ignoring the voice actress, why not just do it anyways? I got Amanda Miller's autograph as well. So I pretty much got two different Uzumaki signed onto the same jacket. And funny thing is, when I was getting Amanda Miller's autograph from that jacket, she actually asked me about it, and I told her that it was something that was sold at Hot Topic for around $70, I think it was, at the time, back when Naruto was as popular as Dragon Ball Z. She and I were just joking about how much the value is nowadays, given how it has the autograph of Naruto, of Miley Flanagan, and also Amanda Miller herself. And she was like, "Oh man, you're definitely gonna be rich, like you're in the mansion or something," or I can't remember what she said exactly, but I wish I was as rich as Tony Stark. I mean, people compare me to Tony Stark just because I build all of this. And some of these were back in my cardboard days. And I didn't have anything big to sign, so I actually got from my, well, for the Kira charm I showed you guys, I actually got signed by not only David Vincent, who is the narrator for the dub of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I also got signed by Kira's voice actor, DC Douglas, who I've heard from a lot of people that he's a charm himself, but given how I only know DC from the dub of Diamond is Unbreakable, he's great. And last but not least, my childhood couldn't resist this in particular. But I got Tara Sand's autograph, who is the OG voice actress for Bulbasaur for the dub of Pokemon, as well as Mokuba and also the baby stand user of Death 13 from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. She's done a couple of Fire Emblem stuff, but I've never played Fire Emblem before, so I really can't say much about that. And let's just say Tara Sand's awesome person. Just awesome. And funny thing is, as I was waiting in line to get her autograph, she was tossing away fun-sized candy to some of the attendees, and I was one of the people chosen. So yeah, I pretty much got a double score for my nostalgia. And I also forgot to mention Demon Slayer. I got to finish that show. There were a lot of cosplayers there. So many Nezuko's. Much like JoJo, it's a drug. And it is addicting. Especially if Lisa sang the opening. Now is finally time for the announcement. I'm actually going to bring up some depressing news, but also twist things around with some happy news. So for the bad stuff is I'm actually planning on making next year my final year for cosplay. Not necessarily as a means for me to just throw my hat on the ground and just be like, I'm done, but just more of, it hasn't made me make a living off of it. And I know there's some cosplayers out there that do make a living off of it, and that's fine if that's their full-time job, and that's great if it is. And I know cosplay is supposed to be meant as a fun thing to do and is not always about professionalism, but it hasn't actually made me go places if I could think of any other way to describe it. So I'm actually going to end things off with a bang. Yep, I'm gonna be doing X8 Muteki Gamer as my final cosplay. The good stuff is next year. Some of you guys might already know about this, and some of you guys might not, but for those that don't know, I'm going to Japan. Now, when exactly am I going to Japan? I don't know myself, as one of my friends who actually bestowed to me this double figurine that I mentioned earlier, and also bestowed a lot of other things to me as well, and I also bought stuff from her as well, but she and her then fiance, now husband, actually got married on Kaiza Day, and they're planning on doing a wedding reception, and they want me there as Kamen Rider Doraibu. And don't worry, I promise when that time comes, I will post pictures and videos all over social media. At least on certain parts of social media. Let's just say, in the words of ex-president of Nintendo of America, Reggie Fils-Aimé, my body is ready. So yeah, YoumaCon 2019, good. Dealer's room stuff, good. Voice celebrities, good. But I still liked last year's a little more, so that one was great, this one's good. In Japan, it's gonna be like, I might faint right on the spot as soon as my 2 feet land on that country. But I'm looking forward to it. So that's pretty much all I have to talk about for YoumaCon. And all I gotta say is, even though this was my second YoumaCon, as I mentioned before, it's been a great opportunity actually having to go to the con itself and experience so many wonderful and talented people, as well as coming across what YoumaCon is known for. And honestly, compared to OhioCon, this one has the higher ground. And I'm actually planning on sometime next month releasing a cosplay story video, just talking about how I got into cosplay and some of the greatest memories I have about it. Even though technically I think it would have been more appropriate to actually make that video and release it for my 10th anniversary, which is going to be in January of 2010. Now, I can't remember the actual day in which I start cosplaying for anime cons, but I kind of figured next month would be appropriate because, well, I'm not going to reveal any details now, but they shall be revealed by then. And you'll see why. So with all that said, I am Soto XI Cosplay, seeing you next game. Or video, or whatever. Feel free to support me on Patreon if you want to. It's not mandatory, but it's there if you want to support me.